Have you ever noticed that the kinder you are, the worse people treat you? You hold the door open for someone rushing behind you, and they breeze past without a glance. You cancel your plans to help a friend move apartments, and suddenly they're texting you at midnight to fix their Wi-Fi. You spend years being the reliable one at work, covering shifts and picking up slack, only to watch louder, more assertive coworkers get promoted over you. It's as if every act of generosity quietly erases a fraction of your worth in their eyes. You start to feel like a ghost in your own life, present but unseen, helpful but unvalued. The cruelest twist? The more you give, the smaller you become. Your kindness, once a virtue, becomes a liability. If this pattern continues unchecked, you'll spend decades drowning in quiet resentment, watching people trample your boundaries, exploit your time, and treat your compassion as an invitation to take more. But here's the truth they don't tell you. Kindness isn't the problem. Misapplied kindness is. And by the end of this exploration, you'll possess the tools to transform your generosity from a weakness into a superpower, one that commands respect, not contempt. Let's travel back to 130 AD Rome, where our merchant Gaius, not Gas, a small historical edit for accuracy, learned this lesson through brutal experience. Gaius wasn't just kind, he was a human safety net. When a drought ruined harvests, he sold his Persian silk inventory at a loss to buy grain for the plebs. When a rival merchant's ship sank, Gaius funded a new vessel, asking only for a handshake in return. His courtyard became a revolving door of petitioners, a widow needing funeral coins, a poet seeking patronage, a senator borrowing his prized Greek tutor for his mediocre son. Initially, Rome sang his praises. A modern Cato, they declared, toasting him in wine shops and bathhouses. But within 2 years, something shifted. The same crowds now muttered as he passed. "Who does he think he is, buying our loyalty?" sneered a blacksmith who'd once wept gratitude for Gaius's loan. The final blow came at the Forum, where Gaius gently reminded his friend Lucius, a man he'd saved from debtor's prison, that a 10,000 denarii loan was due. Lucius smirked, adjusting his gold-embroidered toga, bought with Gaius's money. "You'd starve your own children to feed strangers," he spat. "Why start acting like a proper Roman now?" In that moment, Gaius understood. Unlimited generosity isn't nobility, it's self-annihilation. This pattern isn't ancient history. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics observed. Human brains equate scarcity with value. A 2021 UCLA study found that participants rated identical paintings as 23% more profound when told only 3 existed versus 300. Your kindness suffers the same devaluation. When you're always available, your time becomes background noise, the emotional equivalent of elevator music. Worse, perpetual generosity triggers a sinister cognitive bias, effort justification. If someone works to earn your help, waiting patiently, showing gratitude, reciprocating favors, their brain rationalizes, "This must be valuable because I'm investing in it." But freely given kindness? That requires no mental gymnastics. It's dismissed as cheap, even suspicious. Why are they so nice? The skeptic in us whispers. What's wrong with them? Enter the Stoics, Rome's original mindset coaches. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the known world, still made time to journal. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. But his meditations reveal a crucial caveat. Understand what is yours and what is not. Then no one can ever use you. Notice the duality, kindness paired with razor-sharp boundaries. Seneca, the philosopher who tutored Nero, put it bluntly, "He who gives quickly, gives twice. He gives thrice who gives wisely." These weren't heartless men. They built hospitals, freed slaves, and funded public works. But their charity had teeth. A beggar received a coin and a farming job offer. A lazy relative got cut off after 3 excuses. Their kindness wasn't a bottomless well, but a guarded reservoir, refreshing to those who respected its source. So how do you apply this today? Let's dissect 4 Stoic principles into actionable strategies. Number 1. The 24-hour rule of intentional kindness. Marcus didn't refuse requests, he delayed them. Before agreeing to help, ask, "Is this a genuine need or a manufactured emergency? Am I acting from compassion or fear of conflict?" Implement a 24-hour buffer. When someone asks for a favor, respond with, "Let me check my commitments and get back to you." This pause does 2 things. It filters out opportunists who will hound you immediately and trains people to value your time. the colleague who needs you to quickly edit their report. If it's truly urgent, they'll do it themselves. The friend demanding last-minute babysitting? They'll learn to plan ahead. Number 2. The art of the unapologetic no. Seneca's letters overflow with polite but unyielding refusals. To a clingy acquaintance, your presence, dear friend, would delight me next month. Until then, my door remains closed. Modern translation? Stop jading, justifying, arguing, defending, explaining. When declining, channel Seneca's elegance. I can't commit to that, followed by silence. Watch magic unfold. The more you justify, the more others see your no as negotiable. A client demands a weekend call. I don't work Saturdays, but I'm available Monday at 10 a.m. No apologies, no guilt, just facts. Number 3. The appreciation audit. Stoics practice premeditatio malorum, imagining worst-case scenarios to build resilience. Apply this to relationships. Every solstice or quarterly, review your inner circle. Who thanked you genuinely last time you helped? Who sent a follow-up text? Who reciprocated? Create a mental kindness ledger. The cousin who borrowed your car and returned it with an empty tank? Demote her to acquaintance level. The neighbor who brought homemade soup after you dog-sat? Upgrade her access. This isn't transactional, it's training others how to treat you. Number 4. The power of strategic withdrawal. Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, taught, if you want to improve, be content to appear clueless or rude. Sometimes, disappearing is the ultimate power move. When Gaius stopped funding Rome's freeloaders, chaos ensued. The poet couldn't afford parchment. The senator's son failed his rhetoric exam. Suddenly, Gaius's worthless kindness had measurable value. Apply this ruthlessly. If coworkers mock your overly nice demeanor, stop sharing your notes before meetings. When your friend expects you to always drive, forget your keys twice. Let them feel the absence. But what about being labeled selfish? The critic's favorite weapon. Here's the Stoic rebuttal. Self-respect isn't selfishness. A lighthouse doesn't selfishly hoard its light, it directs it purposefully, saving ships from rocks. Your kindness similarly must be targeted. Still, backlash is inevitable. When Gaius demanded his loans repaid, mobs gathered, calling him a miser. He responded by posting account ledgers in the forum, revealing how many had exploited him. The crowd dispersed, shamefaced. Modern translation, keep receipts. The next time someone gaslights you for setting boundaries, calmly list 3 times you helped without reciprocation. Then watch them squirm. Now let's address the elephant in the agora. Can women apply this without being called cold or shrewish? Absolutely, but it requires nuance. A 2023 Harvard study found that assertive women who pair no with collaborative language. I can't take that on, but perhaps we can brainstorm solutions. Maintain likability while commanding respect. The key is tone, firm but friendly, like a velvet-wrapped steel beam. You might wonder, but won't this make me calculative, always keeping score? Not if you reframe it. The Stoics saw life as a garden. Kindness is water, essential, but flooding destroys roots. Boundaries are the trellis guiding growth. You're not rationing love, you're ensuring it nourishes those who help it bloom. Still unconvinced? Test it yourself. For 1 month, implement the 24-hour rule. Track how many emergencies evaporate. Notice who stays polite versus who turns hostile. Those who respect your pause are keepers. The rest, let them drain someone else's well. In closing, remember, the world needs kindness, your kindness, but not as a martyr's shroud. Wear it like a general's cloak, warm enough to comfort allies, thick enough to repel arrows. Water your garden, but fence it. Shine your light, but dim it for those who curse the dark. As Marcus wrote mere days before his death, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say. Stop begging for crumbs from those who feast on your generosity. Instead, become the host, welcoming but always on your terms.